Everybody, I'm Rita Cosby in for Nancy Grace. I want to thank you all for being with us tonight. Breaking news this evening out of Tennessee. A precious 9-month-old baby girl reported missing by her own mother. The mom claims she gave her own baby to a complete stranger. But there's one problem. Mommy doesn't call police for 9 days.
Mother who allegedly gave her baby away to a total stranger.
Stranger.
Didn't report it to police for 8 days.
Welfare of the child, not being able to care for the child.
19-year-old Lauryn Dickens told cops she gave her 9-month-old baby away to a stranger.
Unknown female, white, 40 to 50 years old.
Just hours after the baby's father allegedly told Dickens to give the child to an unknown white female.
The baby's mother says the woman came to her Raleigh apartment complex that day.
Cops say Dickens claims she gave baby Lauryn to the female without knowing who she was or where she lives.
Stranger.
Dickens hasn't seen the baby since.
Lauryn Dickens was last seen wearing a brown onesie, 1 foot 9 inches tall, 17 pounds.
Now reports emerge. Police are investigating whether the baby's father, who is currently behind bars on unrelated charges, knows where Lauryn is.
He told police he knows nothing.
And let's go straight to Nancy Grace producer Matt Zarrell. Matt, what does this mother claim happened? And I say claimed because I don't trust her story.
Yeah, and there are reports that police are not buying the story, that there's evidence that they can't even prove the story. Police were called just days ago to this home. This 19-year-old mother, Shakara, was reporting her 9-month-old daughter, Lauryn, missing. Now, apparently what had happened is 8 days earlier, she claimed that she got in a conversation with the biological father of Lauryn. They had spoke and they discussed the mother not being able to properly care for the child, and that is when the father allegedly suggested that she give the baby away to this unknown white female, who then showed up at the home hours later, and the mother gave the baby away. Since then, the mother has not seen any sign of little Lauryn.
You know, let's go to former NYPD detective Bill Majeski. Bill, what kind of a mother gives her baby away to a stranger?
Well, first we have to believe that she actually gave the child away to someone.
And I don't believe it for a second. I don't either, Bill. I think she's a con artist.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's something here. Hopefully the child is still alive. But the thing is that the police have to start an investigation at this point in time. They should be searching the apartment for some kind of forensic evidence to see if there was anything done to the child. You know, clearly the mother is coming out with a story. The biological father, is not corroborating that story in any way, shape, or form. If indeed she visited him in prison, and then if indeed he then contacted someone to come to the apartment to pick up the child, there would be a record of some kind of communication by him to this other person. So that's clearly something that the police can check into and verify one way or the other.
Absolutely. Let's go to Mark Class, if we could, president and founder of Class Kids Foundation. You know, Mark, this smells fishy. The other thing, too, the description that she gives of this, quote, stranger, you know, white woman, she says, closed toes sandals. Can you believe this? And parted in the middle of her hair. She seemed to have this perfect description, over the top. Doesn't that say something to you?
Well, it says a lot of things to me. I agree with you and Bill. This stinks from the get-go. This is shades of Susan Smith and Elizabeth Johnson. You might remember in 1994, I believe it was, Susan Smith murdered her own children and then blamed it on what turned out to be a very generic, non-existent black man. Now, this mother seems to have done a very similar thing. She says that a very generic-looking, nondescript, middle-aged white woman came and took her baby, but has no idea who this is. I think that once this investigation plays out, we're going to find out, unfortunately, that this little child is no longer with us.
And I'm very suspicious. By the way, everybody, the pictures you're seeing right here are Shakira Dickens. This is the mom, whom, from what we believe, these are her pictures from MySpace and also Facebook pages, too. So it gives you a sense of what this woman looks like with this very questionable story. Let's go to our callers. We got Hope from Texas on the line. What's your question, Hope?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. What do you think of this case? It does not smell right.
This is the second case in less than a year that we have had a missing child that supposedly was given away to someone in Tennessee. I believe that there is, in fact, human trafficking going on in this country as well as in other countries, and we know that over 800,000 children and women come up missing every year. Now, whether this is a case of human trafficking or not, we will have to see, you know. But I pray that this child is alive, and I pray that just having this information being broadcast on your show tonight will ensure her safe return.
And look, and we all certainly pray, when you look at this beautiful little baby, we pray that she's alive, we pray she gets back safely. But it does not smell good. And let's go, if we could, to Joe Lawless, defense attorney. He's also the author of Prosecutorial Misconduct. Is it possible crime, maybe human trafficking, as this woman suggests, as Hope brings up, or does it just seem like more likely there's something wrong with this woman's story, and there's something a lot more to the story nefarious than she has shown? Rita, I have to agree with Mark and the detective who spoke to you earlier. It seems to me that there's no human trafficking involved here at all. This just harkens back to something I've said before. You need a license to drive a car. Any schmuck can be a parent. Something has happened to this child. And I'm sure the police are looking at this as a lot more than a missing persons case. Any contact that the husband would have had with anyone fitting this description is easily verifiable. There's phone records, there's visiting records. And he's in jail, by the way, Joe. He's in jail. What is he going to be doing, roaming around looking for people? Give me a break. Well, you've got a record of his phone calls. Yeah, I'm sure they looked at her cell phone records, too. My question is, why did she report it at all? I mean, if no one had reported the child's missing, she sits there and keeps her mouth shut. For 8 days. For 8 long days. Well, the more she would let time pass, the less evidence there would be of what she did. Why'd she even come forward now? I just don't understand any of this. I think the woman is clearly one brick shy of a full load, and I think something very, very tragic has happened to this child. I agree with Mark. And I pray that that's not the case. Of course, we all do tonight. Let's go to Charisma from Texas, who's on the line. Charisma, what's your question, dear?
Hi, my question is, if she is telling the truth, which I doubt that she is, the person that she supposedly gave the baby to, why hasn't that person contacted any medical authorities or any police authorities or social workers or anything of that nature if she just walked up, gives the daughter to a complete stranger? That's what I don't understand.
Well, you know why I think, Charisma? Because there probably is no person that she gave the baby to, sadly. Let's go to Ray Judice. He's, of course, a defense attorney. Ray, you know, I've got to ask you, when you see all this, you know, I don't think there was another person. I would love for somebody to come forward and say, I've got the baby and the baby's safe and sound, but I have a hard time believing this story.
I think our caller reflects the attitude of all reasonable, rational people, and I'll even include Joe Lawless in that group for tonight.
Oh, don't go that far.
They hear this story and immediately say, something is very wrong. What concerns me is that her story is so shallow and so poorly constructed that seems to me to be a response to an emergency situation. In other words, a very sudden trauma or illness or danger to this child that she felt she had to quickly respond, call police, and start laying her cover story.
A Tennessee mother who allegedly gave her baby away to a total stranger didn't report it to police for 8 days. 19-year-old Lauryn Dickens told cops she gave her 9-month-old baby away to a stranger just hours after the baby's father allegedly told Dickens to give the child to an unknown white female.
What I'd like to know is, do they have documentation from anyone regarding the last time that the baby was seen with her mother? You know, they're saying 8 days, but we really don't know who besides the mother saw this child. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, neighbors, someone. But this doesn't look good, because just the description of the person that she claims she gave the baby to just doesn't pan out at all.